We are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hatchback Studios. I'm Art Thibert, 35-year veteran of this wild, wacky industry that we know and love called comic books. And today I'm just going to hang out. I'm just going to be casual. I'm just going to hang out. Don't really have any big news. Don't have anything revelatory to share. Just kind of wanted to hang out, have a cool hangout live stream. Talk to you guys and do a little drawing and inking on something near and dear to my heart, which is chronomechanics. So, take a sip of my tea. And, we already have some peoples. We have Justin McClure. Get a beer. It's too early, man. Well, it's 2 o'clock. Does that make you an alcoholic if you start drinking it too? I don't know. I don't know what justifies or what constitutes an alcoholic. I just took off my glasses for a minute. I borrow ideas. Hey, Art, what's up, guys? Albino Thunderbuns, what it do? I be doing some drawing. I'm going to do some drawing for you guys. I also have some fan art from the Thibert vault, and I have some more images I found for the sketchbook, the work in progress chronomechanics sketchbook that is live now on Indiegogo. Yeah, the chronomechanics campaign is heating up, you guys. It is heating up. I'm gonna share it. I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna do this impromptu, man. I didn't have this planned. Nothing's planned. I'm flying completely by the seat of my pants. So we had quite an increase in the last couple of days. So thanks to everybody for backing this book, for shouting out. If you could, please do keep continuing to get the message out of the greatest book of all times, Chronomechanics, which is this book that you're looking at right now. Hopefully you're looking at it. I don't know. I'm not that technically advanced, but I think it's working. So yeah, we are at 31,571, 436 backers. So thanks again. You guys are the best. And if you haven't backed it, please do so. I would much appreciate it, and you won't regret it. It is, I think it's pretty monumental. I think it's pretty groundbreaking, at least from my point of view, it is. I'm drawing and inking and creating way outside of my wheelhouse. So I'm taking a big chance here and trying to create something different, unique, and interesting. So I think I've achieved that, but you guys will be the final judge on that. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you. Thank you, guys. But the main thing I want to do is to draw. I want to do some drawings for you guys. Let me stop sharing. Go back to StreamYard. I think I'm back. I am back for the attack. And we have El Gargoyle. Hail, T-Bear. Hail, what's up? We have, the star storyteller. He's not just, or she is not just a storyteller, but a star storyteller. So either tell stories about like cosmic stuff, or you're like a star, like a movie star or something. It's 3 o'clock somewhere. Is that the time that it's okay to start drinking? If so, then I have about an hour. I'll knock back a few. I don't mind taking the edge off, as they say. Only if I get the shakes. Yeah. We have Sketch Therapy in. What's up, brother? Looks like your pontificators are going insane on what? Who's going insane on Twitter? Please enlighten me. Just for the record, I don't really know those guys too well. I'll throw them under the bus if I have to. I'm just kidding. Oh, we have Archgeek in the house. Hey, Art. Yes, please massage that like button. Give it a big thumb way up. We have John Whalen. Dude, What is up? Let's see if sketch therapy can clarify. I don't know what's going on. Is bot good enough? Vet your guess, my friend. Can't wait to see what you draw up. Yeah, well, now I'm a little weird. I'm a little worried. I'm a little nervous. We have Eric Weathers. Eric Weathers is like the coolest guy in comics. He's going to send me some of his Flying Fortress books. And if you guys haven't checked it out, do check out Eric Weathers. He letters just about everything, every Comicsgate book under the sun. And he's got a book. I think it's in demand. I think Flying Fortress is still in demand. Clarify if you can, Eric. And he's got a new book coming out. Is it Battle Brick Road? I think it's called Battle Brick Road, and he probably has a pre-launch sign up for Battle Brick Road, so you guys should check that out. If Eric could clarify, I could probably get better info out there. I love stories. Oh, who doesn't? Who does not? We have Hale Art. We have Matt. Hey, what's up? It's always 3:00 in Cecil's world. It used to always be 3:00 in Art's world too, but I don't really do that. I'm too old for it. And I got a kid. I got responsibilities, man. Flying Cart and Draken are going insane on Twitter. Are they just going at each other, or are they talking about something else? Who knows? Sketch, turn on your English, mate. 8:00 coffee, 5:00 vodka. You know what? I don't know how you guys rank like guy drinks or whatever, but I don't know if this is a guy drink. That's why I preface it that way. But I like a good, like, straight up cranberry drink. Like that Ocean Spray stuff, not the sweetened stuff, just like the normal, like cranberry, and I mix it with vodka, and wow, like after dinner or whatever, it just takes the edge off, and it's kind of a casual drink, and you don't really know that it's taking the edge off, but it does. So I like that. I don't like. I used to drink a lot of beer. That just, at this time in my life, it just makes me bloaty. So I'm going to drink the harder stuff. It takes the edge off quicker, and I feel better. Less bloaty. Battletoads. What is Battletoads? I know it's a book, but is that your book? That's a pretty funny Cecil drawing there. Okay, Eric is going to clarify. Nope, it's closed, but we're open for a second variant cover campaign for Flying Fortress. So there you go. So go check that out. Thank you, Eric, for that. Sketch Therapy is clarifying. Don't take my word or anyone's word. You can go check. They are on Twitter. They are not you. You are your own man, but go see for yourself. I don't believe in guilt by association, but stay well informed. Yes, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. And yeah, I don't really worry too much about it. My mom raised me right. She said, you know what, Art, don't get involved. It's none of your business. It's none of your business. Oh, we have a clarification too. Eric said that the second printing of Flying Fortress Remastered will have a cover penciled by Malin and inked by EVS. Malin is one of those guys that I kind of want to get my ink mitts on. I'd like to throw some ink on that boy. John Whalen says, sounds good, vodka and cranberry juice. Yeah, I really like that. That's kind of my go-to, and it's real easy. We all, I sound like a wino, but we always have like one of those big bottles of vodka. I don't know why, those big gallon jugs of it in the pantry. And we always have cranberry in the house. But what is this? Try gin and tonic. Uh, huh. I drank gin when I was younger, and I would mix it, and I think I liked it. I think what happened is one day I just wanted to get really ripped with my friends, and we ran out of something to mix the gin with, and we just started drinking it out of the bottle straight. And I got pretty ripped, but this guy got like freaking fall down drunk. Started puking and everything. I'll tell the story real quick because it's funny. He was a little older than I was. He could drive, so that'll give you an idea how old I was. I was probably like, I don't know, what is, I think I got my permit around 16. So I was probably around 15, 16, but he was old enough to drive. So he had this cool Mustang. So we drove down to the Forum to go see, of all bands, Styx. So you got to, it's probably late 70s. Yes, I am an older man. So we drove up Imperial Highway because I lived in Norwalk. So it's a pretty straight shot. So I remembered how to get there and everything. So that's going to be a big story point later. Somebody said they wanted stories. So here you go. Here's a story. So we drove there, and as most responsible youth do, we were drinking really heavily in the car. Yeah, so I think we had some kind of 7-Up or something that we were cutting the gin with. I don't know if that's good or not. Like I think back and I was like, it was okay. But then we ran out of 7-Up and we just started drinking the gin out of the bottle. So we did get to, was it the Forum? Yeah, the Forum for the show. But as soon as we got out, my friend started showing, my friend, the driver, there were 3 of us, started showing some serious signs of the knee wobble and the slouching. And also we were kind of partaking of the herb, if you know what I mean. And so we had to kind of carry him to the venue from the parking lot. So we did one of those things where, you know, they kind of put their arms around your shoulders. And so me and my friend, we kind of got him up to the gate so we can get past security. We said, can you walk in? Because this is going to look pretty obvious that you're ripped and they're not going to let you in. So he did, and we got into the venue. So we found our seats. And as soon as the band started, this guy decided he was going to Ralph, just let it all go. Reckless abandon. This guy was ripped, though. By the way, he was like in and out of consciousness at this point. So he didn't even look like he was awake when he vomited. And he vomited on the guy and his girlfriend, but mostly on the guy in front of us, in the row in front of us. He puked on the back of his head and his shoulder, and a little bit on his girlfriend. And so, God, this happens to me a lot, and I don't know why, but it does. So as soon as the guy turns around, he makes eye contact with me because I'm in his line of sight. He doesn't see the guy, my friend, that puked on him. He sees me, and he's like, "What the, like the F?" And he's just going like crazy. And so I'm like, no, it wasn't me, man. It was this guy. And so by this time, I want to use his name, but I'm not going to use his name. My friend is just passed out. He's just gone at this point. So I'm going to like that guy. And so he had a little puke on him. So you could tell like that he was obviously the guy. So the anger didn't go to me. And so my friend, my other friend we were all ripped, but my friend and I were less like intoxicated for some reason. I don't know how. We were doing just as much as this guy. And so he quickly says like, let me buy you a beer. And so, and maybe he just didn't want to stay there to like have to deal with that kind of anger, because that guy was pissed, rightly so. And so I don't know why, but I think I just had like a jacket or a shirt around my waist. So I just got my shirt and I just started cleaning the guy off. Like I'm trying to clean him off. And so I just left that shirt there. I didn't even bring it back. I probably threw it away because it was probably stinking up the place. But that was my fix. So I'm cleaning the guy up, and so then just enough so he can get up. He goes to the bathroom, comes back just in time for my friend to bring the beer. And so we kind of smoothed it over. But that epic story didn't stop there. So we enjoyed the show. It was good. My friend slept through the whole thing, the guy that drove. So, my other friend that was more sober than, he was in the same state I was in. Because he was younger than I. And so he's like, we were just looking at each other like, how are we going to get home? Neither one of us drive. And I don't even know how to get home. So I was like, holy shit, you're right. How the hell are we going to get home? And so I just, I don't know why. I guess I had more experience, or maybe I had my, what do you call that permit where you can drive with registered or like legal licensed drivers. I must have had something. Yeah, it was probably 77. And so Sticks could be worse. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't want to comment, but at one point, I was a pretty big Styx fan, but I think everybody was around that time. So I would never claim to be a huge Styx fan at this time of my life. Oh, really? That's what we were doing. Like we were just like cutting the gin with 7-Up. And then we ran out of the 7-Up and just started drinking. I mean, literally, I still remember knocking the gin bottle back. Yeah. So anyway, I volunteered to drive. I'll drive. And so I kind of remembered how to get there because I wasn't sure because I wasn't really paying attention, but I knew that Imperial Highway could get us back. I knew it was the long way around. Actually, to clarify the story, we didn't take Imperial Highway there. We took freeways there. So he drove us through the freeways, but I knew Imperial Highway was right next to the Forum, and I could drive that all the way home. But sometimes highways they like meander or they cut off and then they start up again in other communities. So I wasn't 100% sure that this was going to get us home. So anyway, it's the only chance we had because there's no way in hell I'm going to call my parents. And so we get my friend in the car. We're practically carrying him at this point because he can't walk. We throw him in the back seat. And so I just start trying to drive this car. And actually, I didn't do a bad job because I had driven up to that point, but I was a little nervous. So I'm driving back. It's taken forever. And I'm still a little stoned. So, you get paranoid with the cops, and it's really late in the, it was probably midnight or 1 o'clock. And so, yeah, I got everybody home. And this is like the no good deed, right? It goes unpunished kind of thing. So I drop my friend off, and then I have to drive my friend that hits his car. I have to drive him home and leave his car there. So that meant at like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, I had to walk home in the freezing cold. I had to walk home, and my gosh, I liked Styx at the time, but I didn't like him that much to have to deal with that kind of crap. But yeah, learner's permit. That's what it's called. Yeah. So I had the learner's permit. So yeah, that's my my crazy. I used to think I was sheltered, like as a kid, like I don't have any world experiences and things like that. And there's a lot of younger people that I've had in the studio that have worked at Hack Shack and things like that. And so you meet them and you talk to them, and then you hear their stories, their life experience stories, and you're like, holy shit, man, I am worldly wise compared to these guys. Like even at 16, 17. Art riding dirty, LOL. Yeah. I don't know. I think my parents would have killed me if I didn't come home. Because my dad worked the midnight shift. So if I wasn't home, I think I would have got my ass handed to me. So I think that's why I had to get home. Okay. I'm going to start drawing for you guys now. But I want to show you something first. Let me see if I can do this. Screen share. So I was pretty happy with this layout, and you're not going to be able to see it too well with the camera because it's in the form of blue line. So this is what I'm going to, this is the layout. So I'm going to do finishes over this. So I did this morning. The story behind this is Caravaggio. This is Chronomechanics now. This is the book I'm working on. Caravaggio is one of Team 9.2 of Sector 7. So he's a chronomechanic. But you've heard me explain before, they're like Shazam, so they have alter egos. So this is Caravaggio in his street clothes, let's just say. So he's not powered up as a mechanic in this scene. So this is kind of a fantasy that Caravaggio is having. And so one of the things about Caravaggio, the backstory is that Caravaggio is kind of undiscovered. So in his timeline, so he's a little disgruntled. So he's kind of an undiscovered talent. So he's working his ass off as an artist, and nobody's taken notice of him. So that's kind of his state of mind. And so then he's convinced that gosh, listen to me, Leonardo da Vinci, who's his contemporary, has been stealing from him and stealing all his ideas and stealing his painting techniques and all this other thing. So he has this little fantasy in the Chrono story. And so this is the fantasy where he goes after Da Vinci. So they have basically like a sword fight, but with paintbrushes. And so this is Caravaggio just, cleaning Leonardo da Vinci's clock. He's just smacking him, laying him out with his paintbrush. And you can see like in the eye of Da Vinci, he's just like, my painting eye. So he just kind of just, whacked him right in the eye with the paint. So this is the panel I'm going to bring together. This was kind of a last minute idea, and I think it's funny, and it gives you a little bit of backstory on Caravaggio. So Caravaggio is a frustrated Renaissance painter and is convinced that Leonardo da Vinci is swiping his secrets, which I'm not saying he is, but he just might be. So you're going to have to read the story and find out, because also Caravaggio is convinced that Da Vinci has these people that work for him, and they call them the ninjas or the ninjas. And they're like ninjas, but they steal artists' secrets. So Caravaggio may be a little paranoid. Like I said, you got to read the story. But he's convinced they go into his studio and steal secrets for Leonardo da Vinci. So it's just a fun little aside. There's a bunch of little stuff like this in Chronomechanics, just fun little historical things. And I think any artist out there can relate to the, you come up with a technique or an idea, and then another artist swipes it. So that's kind of the idea. So here it is in form of blue line, and I'm going to ink this bad boy up for you guys. And let me see. Is it a little dark? Let's see. Bring a little bit more light in. See if we can lighten this up so you can see it. But yeah, this is the blue lines. They're a little hard to see on the camera. I've complained about the camera before, so I'm not going to do it again. Okay, this is already the wrong pin. I need my thicker pin for that, so I'm going to do my finer detail here. So a friend of mine was he was looking at Chrono. This was years ago when I first came up with the idea, and he was like, the 4 characters are you. And I was like, what? He said, yeah, each one kind of I believe represents you in some way. And I was like, how so? And so he says, Caravaggio is an artist. He's a frustrated artist, you know, and so he's kind of convinced that he's a genius. And I think like artists on some level, we build ourselves up and then we tear ourselves down. So it's a constant back and forth. But I think most successful artists think of themselves as kind of like, that they have something to offer. So he said Caravaggio is kind of like you. He's an artist. And so I was like, okay, I'll give you that. And then he said, Doug is a rock musician. He's not just a rock musician, he's a musician from the 70s, which is what I was. I kind of made it into the 80s as well, but mostly late 70s. And so he said, that's what Doug is. And I was like, okay, this is starting to sound like maybe it's plausible. And so then he said, and then there's Oot. And I was like, okay, how would I be like this Oot character? He said, Oot is a businessman. He's a prehistoric businessman. And so you run a studio. Like a lot of, freelance artists are kind of businessmen, like the more successful ones anyway. So I ran a studio and then I create IPs. And so a little bit of a businessman. So I was like, wow, this is really strange. This is sounding plausible. And then I said, how could I be like a child deity that prophesizes and stuff like that? And he said, you're a blowhard. He said, just like Zen. He said, you like to talk philosophy and you're kind of a blowhard. So yeah, so there you go. So there's a little bit of me in each one of these characters. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I try not to evaluate things like that too much because if I get too much into my head, I get too self-conscious. So it's a thing I kind of learned when I was in bands. And the thing is, it's not good to analyze too much or to be in your own head. You kind of have to be in the moment. And so there's one thing I like with these YouTube, I never look back on any of my YouTube shows, or if I'm on another show, I never do anything like that because it would make me too self-conscious. So I just don't do it. I remember hearing, it was like on the Tonight Show or something, there was an actor and he was talking and they were saying, so do you watch yourself in the movies and your performance? He says, I never do. He said, because I always feel self-conscious about it, and I don't want to get into my own head while I'm doing this stuff, so he just finds it better to just kind of do it and move on. And I know that it can be a valuable learning tool, but I'll look back at my work and I'll evaluate my drawing and stuff like that. But if I'm going on a show or anything like that, I usually don't watch it. Like I went on Home Shopping Network with Mr. T, and I was selling cable books, and he had like Mr. T and the T-Force or something, some book like that. And so they kind of paired us off. So I'm kind of doing cable drawings and talking about cable, and he was, talking about his book. And my friends were like, did you ever watch it? Did you see it? And I was like, no, I never watched it. And so they're telling me like, you did this, you did that. It was, it was pretty good. And I was like, well, no. And they said, well, you should watch it. And I never have. And I did a guest appearance on the Bob Show. It was like the Bob Newhart Show. And they were saying, you got to watch that. You got to watch, see yourself on the Bob Newhart show. And it was just the Bob show was the one where he was a comic book artist. I don't know. A lot of people don't remember that one because I don't think it was as successful. But yeah, I had a friend that was art director on that show. And so he got me on the show. And I basically played myself. I played a comic book artist. And so I never watched that. And so the only thing I ever watched, and it was because there was a premiere of it and I kind of had to, was there was a documentary. It was called Up in the Sky, or let me see if I can find it actually. I should have it in the studio here. You guys can check out the Caravaggio inks while I'm doing this. I think it's right here. I have my Blu-ray and DVD here. Oh, here it is. So they sent a bunch of these to me. I think I'm in two segments of it. So it's called Look Up in the Sky, The Amazing Story of Superman. So you could tell when this came out. So this, if you guys haven't seen this, me aside being in it, watch it. It is one of the best documentaries I've ever seen on a character. It goes into every freaking facet of this character's development, all the different media, all the highs and lows, not just like the movies and film, but like the radio shows, the comic books, everything. And so this was done by, is it Kevin Burns, I think is his name? So he's a big time documentarian, and I got to hang out a little bit with that guy. He's really cool. He's really informative, and he knew more about my career than I did. So it was pretty cool. And so he asked me a bunch of questions off, like air, I guess not off air, but I guess they edit him out of it. And so you just hear my response. So I think the death of Superman I talk about, and then the wedding of Lois and Clark is in here. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, so Warner Brothers did a like red carpet for the movie. And so I got invited, and Brandon Routh and the actors and all kinds of people were there, because I think Gene Simmons is in the movie. They got like celebrities, all kinds of different people to talk about Superman and these different aspects. So that's the only thing I think I've ever seen that I'm in. So it was pretty cool. And so When in Rome as well. So it was it was on the big screen, man. It was like on the Warner Brothers lot, and there was like this red carpet and everything. It was pretty amazing. There was champagne and food, and it was pretty nuts. And so I got a pretty cool picture of Brandon Routh with my daughter. And God, Amanda must have been like 8 or 9, something like that. And it's pretty awesome. I paid to get like her hair done, so she got her hair done and everything. And then Pamela went and she got her hair done, and they were all purdy. They got all dressed up. I think Kevin Spacey was there. And a bunch of other like Superman creators. God, I'm trying to think of some of the others that were there. I think I always want to call him Lou Diamond Phillips. He was in that Lois and Clark show. He was there. A lot of the different Supermans, the TV Supermans, other than Brandon Routh, were there. I guess the only other one is really Christopher Reeves and what is the newest one? But this was before Man of Steel and all that stuff. So there was no Henry Cavill or whatever his name is. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. It was, as the kids say, cray cray. Yeah, so I had a lot of fun doing that. You know, hold on for a minute. I saw Death Metal Hero in the chat. I'm going to see if he wants to come in. You might want to. Hey, Death Metal Hero, I'm going to send you a link if you want to come in. Bop in. Okay, I do this. I clip this, click that. I'm going to send it to your Facebook. Your Facebook. And if you want to come in, come in. I always forget I can do these things. So this might be fun. There you are. All right. Sent, my friend. So if you want to come in, hang out, do some heavy lifting. Albino Thunder Buns, yeah. Mr. T and the T-Force, good times. I pity the poor fool. We got to, oh my gosh, we got to go out and eat dinner with Mr. T. And it was so funny because my wife and I are sitting across from Mr. T at the table. And so everybody that's there is asking Mr. T questions like, so what was this like all kinds of, I guess kind of more like, what was it like to be in, like the Rocky movie, like all kinds of like, I guess more guy type questions. And so he's kind of like answering the questions, but you could tell that he's been asked those things like a million times over. So he's just kind of bored with it. So then my wife, who is a Mr. T fan, when I met her, she was an A-Team fanatic. Like she had all the A-Teams like recorded on VHS and everything. We still have them somewhere. And those like were her like prized possessions. And so she just gets in talking to him like a normal person, and that guy just started opening up, telling stories about his family, his mom, his dad, all kinds of stuff. And, everybody else is just kind of, envious that he's mostly talking to Pamela. And, we're going back to the room after we ate and everything. And he genuinely liked her. He sincerely liked my wife. They talked the whole evening. And so when we're going back to the room, I was like, do you realize what just happened? And she's like, what? She's like, Mr. T and you had you guys connected like as like a friend kind of thing. Like this was beyond he's got an obligation to home shopping or whatever to make this appearance or whatever. You guys were connecting in a real way. That guy was sharing stories about his family and, all of this other stuff, what all like certain things mean to him, the symbolism of the chains, even, all the little, what are they called? Oh man, I can't think of like what they represent, like, because he had his own like silverware, but it was all gold plated, and so he said something that I thought was really interesting. Is he said, I'm not always like this, and so we were like, what do you mean? He said, I'm only Mr. T when people pay me to be Mr. T. He said, when I'm at home or whatever, I'm just myself. Or if I go to an airport or I'm just around town, I'm just who I am. And I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And it's one of those things like, he was sharing stuff with my wife, and I was just like, wow, this is pretty amazing to connect with somebody like this. On that kind of level. It wasn't just the superficial kind of love your work kind of conversation. And I'll always remember that because he was genuinely taken by her. Just disarmed him. That man can eat. He had a double banana split for dessert after like a full steak. And he didn't even like he hammered it down. It didn't even take him any time. He's a big boy. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I've been really fortunate. The comics industry is pretty amazing. It's pretty awesome. There's a lot of cool things I got to do and people I got to meet in my 35 years. So I'm very, very thankful for all these opportunities. And just great. Like money is money, right? I used to kind of get a little more crazy about money but when you look back, it's more the experiences. Money at this point, the way I look at it is it provides me some kind of stability in life, just being able to take care of my family and stuff. But two, just it represents opportunity now. So, most of the money that I've made is going back into investing in stuff like chronomechanics or different, IP, creator-owned ideas that I have. So I'm just pretty much investing it back so I can, continue doing fun stuff. Like, this is where my heart's at. This is where I want to be. So money just provides opportunity for me at this point. That's why I don't understand, like, sometimes when I hear like people that have a bunch of money and they just talk about like doing stupid things with it, like they get boozed up, or they have drug problems, or they have these different things, and I'm always ultimately like, that's all you can think of doing, with your money is drinking and boozing. It's like, give me some of that money. I'll show you how to spend it. Like, no imagination. Yeah, man. If I had even like, I don't know, 60K, I would be dangerous in the independent market. The ideas I have. I'd take the world by storm. Okay, so Caravaggio's having way too much fun here. Whacking Leonardo. His arch rival. All artists have rivals. Even if they say they don't, they do. They have talent that they're gunning for, or talent that's gunning for them. I'm going to go to the chat as soon as I finish up his face. I need a piece of tape to keep the artwork up, though. Caravaggio's nose is really, as they get into more the straight-on position, they get a little challenging to draw. Like I said, Caravaggio's having way too much fun here. I'm sure if there's any artists out there that there's somebody that you'd like to smack in the face with the paintbrush. I know I do. So there's the paintbrush. My painting eye. Take that. I have all kinds of like dialogue ideas. One is like, you stole her from me, the Mona Lisa. She was a mine. Caravaggio's Italian, if you haven't noticed. She's a mine. How could you? So I think I'm going to cock this one eyebrow, make it up a little bit. Yes. And then this one, have it come down. Yes. Yeah, so if you guys have watched me before, I usually do a lot of drawing with the ink. So you can still make decisions, last minute calls with the ink. And I've been wanting, I got passes, like Disney passes. I've been wanting to get to that Galaxy's Edge for that new attraction, but one, I heard it was breaking down a lot, and two, that the lines are crazy. I want to go, and I want to go before they change things. Sometimes, like when they first open one of those attractions, there's a lot of stuff that they're trying out, and sometimes it ends up going away because they can't get it to work on a day-to-day basis. And then when it goes away forever. So you'll never get to experience whatever it was that they had. I heard a lot of stuff about like the Haunted Mansion and things that they had. A lot of cool things featured, but couldn't continue them either because things broke down or people got scared or too scared. And most of the ideas sound pretty cool. So there's the brush that Da Vinci's getting smacked with. So, I said I was going to go to the chat. Let me kind of go to the chat for a minute and see. Oh, let me hold it up. So there's Caravaggio. Smacka, I smack you in the face. Constructs stories and handles player interactions. Okay, I got to go back a little bit. Okay, what time is it now? 2:30. Wow. I get lost, man. It's already 2:36. We believe immortalizing. I think you guys have your own conversation going here. Oh, we have Matt Cosson. We have a celebrity in our midst. Really looking forward to reading this, Art. Well, thank you, Matt. And I think Matt's got a new book coming up as well. Matt is a brilliant artist. I love his work. They're stealing the Artist Pro secrets. Not if Caravaggio has anything to say. We have Victor in the chat now. Hey, Victor Thomas, how are you? Or as I like to say, Thomas. Mr. T and the T-Force, good times. Eating Mr. T cereal. Who is my rival? That is a great question. Who would be my current rival? I've had rivals in the past. Oh man, that is a really good question. It's usually who I'm really jealous of that makes it look easy. I'll have to think about that. We have Shinto in the house. How be you? The Wolf, are you starting crap on Twitter? I heard you're heating up Twitter right now. Oh, this is funny. Central Scrutinizer, careful, Art. I don't think you're allowed to use Gene Simmons' name without paying him royalties. I'm sure somehow, if he could, he would. Black and White was great, Uncle Thibert. Thank you, man. I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, how many pages? I did a page count and now I'm zoning out. Chrono is wrapping up, you guys. I think I'm 11 pages from finishing the line art. And some of those pages Render Contender is going to help me out with. So there's not too much work left. And I believe 2 of those pages out of those 11 are, but there's like bits and pieces of them that are done. So it's probably more like 9 pages left of work to do. So Chrono is almost done, you guys. So that is great. And I am going to jump right into Black and White. I've been doing layouts and different designs and stuff when I have a little extra time, which I never do, but I make the time. So I still been fooling around with stuff. Yeah, howdy. Ahoy. Ahoy, chatterers. Hey, King Crow, what's up? You know what, DeWolf? You are cool. I don't know what that's response to, but hello, Art, and everyone. Studs. Studs Ramrod. You guys are hilarious. But I'll go with you to Galaxy's Edge. Let's do it. Do you know some people? Let's get in early. You know what? I know a lot of people, but I'm one of those guys. I just don't like to put people out. But if they volunteered it, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Kelsey is my rival. Wait. Yeah, there it is. Kelsey is my rival. I don't know. I don't know. Kelsey is such a nice guy. I don't think nothing against those guys, but I kick their asses and have for a long time. I love Walden. He's a good guy, but I'm sorry. That sounded really arrogant, didn't it? Oh, wait. What is this? So you, DeWolf, are supporting Preston in his deplatforming of Cecil. Okay. So this is getting to the details of what's going on. Yeah. So DeWolf says he's just doing some satire. I think that's what he's talking about. So he may be just poking the bear. Just poking the bear a little bit. Speaking of bears, how's that for a segue? Hey, Arthur Brown, I think I sent you a Facebook DM. So check it out. I got an idea of something that might be cool for Chrono Mechanics in the form of a like a promo video. what I'm going to do is I'm gearing up right now with my lovely wife to come up with kind of like phase 2 for chronomechanics. So kind of how would you say it? Kind of next phase of promoting and getting the word out. So one of the things I wanted to do is get a video, like a cool video, like a promotional video for Chrono, and then put that all over the place, and come up with a series of new stretch goals, and then show you some artwork and some behind the scenes stuff that you haven't seen yet. So just basically a big old like promotional before we go to print, because we're going to be sending this to the printers soon, which is the hopes. Because like I said, the line art is pretty much under control right now. And then I got Jeff on lettering. So it's slowly coming. Well, not slowly. It's quickly coming together. So I'm pretty happy with that. And I think I just got cocky, flew too close to the sun, and drew this fingernail out of perspective here. So I'm going to let the ink dry there and then come back and fix it if need be, which need will be. So here's his shoulder. Da Vinci is getting whacked. That's what happens when you steal a man's style and technique. We get a little territorial. We lash out. Oh, but anyway, we got the wolf in the chat. I believe we're going to do a pontificators tomorrow. So tomorrow's Friday, I believe. And so we'll be live again talking a subject matter to death, but in the funnest, most interesting way possible. I think those guys are good guys, fun guys. We usually have some pretty fun, intense conversation. It's never a good idea to take comic books and this stuff too seriously. I think that's how I sustained 35 years in the industry. I don't get too hung up on stuff. Is there wet ink? I don't want to stick my hand in wet ink. Look at that. I don't know if you guys can hear that sound, the nib on the paper. When Hack Shack, when I had like 6 people working in the studio, you could hear that sound like multiplied by 12, just like quick, 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 quick of the nib. It was pretty awesome. All right, I gotta check this hat. He's got this weird hat. There's very few shots of Da Vinci without that floppy cap of his. So I drew this pretty quick. So I'm checking it out structurally as I'm going. Yeah. I think it looks good. I'm changing a couple things as I'm going along, but Da Vinci. That's how Caravaggio refers to him. Duh. Like he's stupid. He's a stupid guy. So Da Vinci's a fraud, man. He just stole stuff from Caravaggio. So you guys didn't know that, but now you do. So take that with a grain of salt. I don't know what that means with a grain of salt. People say it. I'm sure at some point it meant something, but it sure doesn't to me. I know salt's a spice, but also, man, if you get salt in a wound or an eye, ouch. It burns, it hurts. Okay, let's get some hair in here. I'm changing all my pencil lines with this ink. Ah, my eye. Here's the paint that's going into Da Vinci's eye. I don't know what oil paint in the eye would do. Not sure what it would do to a man. Possess him to draw war machines and torture devices. Man, Da Vinci, some of Da Vinci's sketchbook stuff goes dark. There's some crazy ass shit in there. He's got some like death machines and war machines. I remember when I was a kid, I think like you just fantasize about like doing something serious or real or something that'll get you noticed. And I got some oil paints, like just like these little tubes. We never had money growing up, but they were some kind of like cheap oil paints. And so I used those and I painted the Mona Lisa. I was probably around 12 or something. And I think I still have it somewhere because I think my parents saved it. And it's pretty funny. I was like, I'm going to be a real artist. This hat, I don't know, man. It's structurally looking kind of weird. Let me see. Flip it. I'll fix it in the computer. So we got Da Vinci's weird beak of a nose. Got a little more paint flying out here. All right. This is hair. This is hair. And then this is the hair behind. You got to remember to draw this in the chrono style. Sometimes I go into my normal kind of superhero style, so I gotta remind myself. You're in the chrono world now, baby. Okay, let's. Yeah, don't get hung up, Art. This is the chrono style. Big, dramatic strokes with bloops. That's the key. Don't get overly realistic or rendering with it. Rendery. I don't know if that's a word, but it is now. There we go. Now I'm finding it. Boom, 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 boom. It's the me, Caravaggio. Caravaggio is probably my favorite character to write and draw. He's so expressive and bombastic. He's probably the most emotional character too. Like, he would probably be the first one to throw down. You'd think it would be Oot. Oot's kind of a big teddy bear, but he does have parameters, so he doesn't like to be touched. So if you touch him, especially in certain places that you'll that sounds bad, in certain places, which you'll find out in the story. Wow, that sounds really bad, but I don't mean it that way. In his naughty places. No, it's not like that at all. Man, I'm gonna really have to claim this as not a kids stream. Otherwise, YouTube might crucify me. Oh, and please, yeah, I keep hearing about YouTube unsubbing and doing some kind of hanky-panky. I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or I don't really know what it means, but I've heard other YouTubers talk, and I have noticed that my numbers are kind of doing, like, they're kind of dropping off and also kind of building up weird, but it's not following the usual patterns. So I heard that that there's some hanky-panky going on. So if you guys could check, make sure you're still subbed, and to give a like, a thumbs up, and to please share out with your friends if you like what you see, and if they're comic book artists and like to see the process. And I want to do a lot. I like to do these videos because I get to hang out and talk and get work done as well. So I know some people say that, let me see how this hair is supposed to work. This should probably be in front of that other. Yep. So yeah, if you guys could just turn some people on. It's the only way I can grow things, is to word of mouth, getting the word out. It truly is amazing. I never thought anything this cool could happen, especially since I got 35 years invested, and you feel like you've already seen it all, done it all. Actually, this is different material, so it should be thicker. It's casting a little bit of a shadow. So YouTube and hanging out and drawing and chatting is pretty awesome. I enjoy it. I'm going to keep inking this because I'm not sure where it's going to crop when I put this panel into the page. Yeah, so if you're just tuning in, this is a panel that I got inspired last night to do. And it's Caravaggio bashing with a brush Leonardo da Vinci, because he's convinced da Vinci is a thief and has been stealing his inventions and creations, which, like I said, you're just going to have to read the book to find out. Actually, you might have to read more than one story, because I think in this story, well, I'm not going to give it away. There's some stuff that happens. I'll just leave it at that. It's so hard not to tell you guys everything. Like, you're just so proud of what you're creating and doing. You just want to share it every step of the way. I never thought, back on YouTube and hanging out, and I never thought that this would be possible to, one, share like this, and two, be as excited about it, and then see people in real time appreciate it and get excited about what you're creating, which as a creator is nothing short of amazing. We used to have letters columns, but letters columns are nothing compared to YouTube. Even like social media is okay, but when somebody tunes into a YouTube channel, it's more of a commitment than just seeing something on Twitter and liking it, or on Facebook and liking it and then moving on. You're watching it, you're getting into it. Well, I'm almost done. I think I'm going to throw down some more of these heavy lines and let the ink dry, because I'm at that stage where I'm going to stick my hand in some wet ink if I don't. A lot of this is extra, so it's probably not going to be in the panel, but I like to give myself options. Like this arm is probably not going to be in the shot. All right, so here's a little bit of an update, little violence. So when I come back, I'll be able to ink up the beard. I might have to take a pencil to those hands. They're pretty rough. And I realized when I was trying to just do them with the ink, finish them with the ink, that I was kind of screwing it up. All right. Where's Death Metal? I don't know. I sent him a link. So I think he can only come in after a certain time, but I just thought I'd invite him anyway. Whoa, what is this? The pontificators are not a hill to die on. Oh, I'm not planning on it. Is it that do or die? Is this getting real? Should I be afraid? Wow, okay. The chat looks like it's Sketch Therapy is giving us a heads up. Okay, I'm going back in time in the chat, seeing where you guys deplatforming is garbage. What the heck is going on? Just doing some satire. Saw that. The Uncanny Kodiak says, "Hail Death Metal." I don't know if Death Metal's still in the chat. Hail Mr. Thibert. Okay. Will some satire will cost you supporters? So this is the earlier satire. Gain you support in pretty sure numbers. Prove my point. But we will keep in mind your stance in this. We sounds threatening. The Preston guy, off, shall we say? Yeah, I don't really know much about it, to be honest. I stay pretty neutral with that stuff. I think just by being here in Comicsgate, I've proven pretty much where I stand on most things. So I don't feel the need to comment on every detail. Rubenstein. Yeah, but think about how long ago that was. And like I said, I have nothing against Joe, but Joe's a generation before me. Deplatforming is garbage. Anytime you go after somebody's livelihood, anytime you want to hurt somebody, I don't care what side you're on. Two wrongs do not make a right. So don't attack people's way of making a living. Never do that. I just don't think that that's right. Pontificate for anti-fans and anti-CG. So are you against the pontificators? Is that what's going on here? Getting nervous. It's getting threatening. Okie dokie smoky. Let's see what this is. My pick has been acting up. How long do we have? My pick has, my PC. I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Well, I mean, if we could do it within the next week or so, I think it would be cool if we could put. It's kind of like what I want to do, Arthur Brown. I'll keep this up. Is Ethan did a Rec Planet, or somebody did a Rec Planet for him. It was like a coming soon, but this wouldn't be a coming soon. It would just be kind of a promo for the book that is in demand now, which is Chrono Mechanics. Just a little promo thing. And I believe if you go to my Twitter, I retweeted it. So that video is up on my Twitter. So that'll give you an idea of kind of what I was thinking with the Chrono video. And then what I'll do is use that as a way to kind of promote the last leg before we go to print. I tried to get Walden and Joe to do Indiegogo with their own characters. I don't know if those guys are like creative that way. I don't know if they write and draw. Not everybody is a triple threat like myself. Okay, let's see. Yeah, drama for clicks is garbage. Some people think super chats for drama is the way to go. I think it destabilizes and divides the already small community we have here. Yeah, I don't know. I try to keep my nose clean. Like my mom said, it's none of your business. All right, man. See you later, King Crow. This is probably, when was this? 2:44. So it was a while ago. I'm saying goodbye to you late. Okay. Yeah, let's not take ourselves too seriously. Life is too short. Enjoy it. I agree. Yeah. Frege has a channel. I just talked to him on the phone yesterday. He's got some big plans, man. He's got some cool stuff lined up. So you guys stay tuned for that. Yeah, Dan Frege has a YouTube channel, which is pretty cool. I love the Frege boom. Who doesn't? Oh, thanks, man. I think the attitude you've given Caravaggio is hilarious. Yeah, he's pretty funny. Oh, yeah, here it is. It's called Couch Doodles. Thank you. Okay, I think we're almost caught up. No, no help for Da Vinci. I think most of the guys, like the rest of the team, they don't believe Caravaggio. So when he says, like, Da Vinci's ripping him off, they're just kind of like, yeah, yeah. Like there's always a friend that you never quite believe. They say these outlandish things. So I think it'll be fun to play with that. We're really not sure if Caravaggio is telling the truth. So the guys in the team 9.2 of Sector 7, they really don't believe him 100%. Because it sounds a little nutty, right? Because if Caravaggio is right, history would change forever. This image is a panel for the story. A print, that could be cool. Not everyone is threat of the triple bear. The triple bear. I like that. All right. I'm going to see if I can bring these hands together quickly with the pencil. And if not, I'll just ink up the face and finish it up that way. One of the chrono traits is that they usually have like this part of the finger is really thick. So, and I could find that knuckle there. Yeah, it's a good thing I did this because structurally speaking, this is a little weird. Okay, this thumb is all kinds of wrong. Okay. So we're long here. Shorten that. That. Little knuckle action. Finger coming back. Wow, what is that? It's called throwing stuff down. Okay. I'm going to need some kind of detail in there. Let's do a little fingernail, put it in perspective, going the right way. So this one, a little trickier because the thumb is going back. But still have to make it fun. So you don't see the full fingernail. And let's get that. Let's find the joints. Here. Give the big end of the finger here. I like that. Get the fingernail in there. Find the structure. Yeah, even though it's a cartoon, you still have to structure it up good. Okay, knuckle. Maybe bring this up a little bit here. Find the knuckle. All right. I think that's cool. I'm going to go with my finer nib here because I'm getting into some more detail. I want something that's a little bit more clean, not as thick. I wonder what oil paint would do to your eye if you got it thrown in your eye. I know it would hurt. Okay. Let's give a little chronomechanic line work there. A couple more dots. Let's get a nostril in here. Let's get some nose structures. And then establish a plane there. And all right. Yeah, Da Vinci had a long snoz. I kind of wish it wasn't an upshot, because if it was more of a straight on or down shot, I could have got into the length of his nose, but I had to kind of shorten it and do it as an upshot, which shortens the nose. And because he had a pretty long schnoz. Okay. He has like these little kind of wispy eyebrows. He doesn't have much in the brow department. So give a little side hair here. Yes, shaping up. So here's the rest of his beard. And his hair. Should have like a video game called Whack-A-Mole, but Whack-Da Vinci. Whack-A-Vinci. And you have a paintbrush and you just get to whack him. As a kid, man, I had this weird hero worship with Da Vinci. I thought he was freaking cool. Sorry, guys, I'm spinning this thing all over the place, but I'm trying to work fast here. I'm giving you guys vertigo. Okay, so we'll get the little... You never really want to give too much solidity where it connects with the face. It just looks weird. Okay, here's a little bit more paint flying out. A little more paint. Oh, and you guys, make sure you stay tuned, because I got some fan art that I'm going to show you, and some work in progress stuff for the work in progress sketchbook. And thanks again. The last couple days on the Chrono campaign have been very, very strong. So thanks to everybody. that has backed the book. I really do appreciate it. And we are heading towards the finish line, getting this book done. So I really, really do appreciate the support. And if there is anybody that's kind of on the fence, a little nervous because Black and White took a little longer than was expected, just know that Chrono is coming along right on schedule, at least at this point in time. And I did that on purpose. I really wanted to make sure that I get this book to you in a timely fashion, because I really did feel bad with Chrono. And Pamela did get another batch of books out. I felt bad about Black and White, I should say. She got another batch of orders out this morning. And I believe before she left, she said that we only have like 130 maybe books left to go out. So we are definitely getting close to completely fulfilling the Black and White campaign. So if there's anybody on the fence, didn't want to back Chrono because they were waiting to see if Black and White would completely fulfill, we are very, very close to getting to that point. And I don't blame anybody for being a little bit trepidatious about it, because that's putting a lot of faith in a situation and an artist that you don't know. And I do realize that we're only as good as our reputation. So I am going to do my damnedest to make sure I can get these Indiegogo campaigns out faster. And at the very least, be completely transparent and honest with you up front, or be more realistic is probably the better way of saying that. Because with Black and White, I sincerely did think we would be able to do what we had initially promised. But to be honest, I really didn't know the full scope of what was going to be asked of me either. So it's a lot of trial and error and learning as you go. But you guys have been absolutely amazing throughout this whole crazy trip. And I appreciate it. I never take it for granted. Never, ever. All right. There's a little paint coming off his brush. It's kind of like, they were having, a sword fight. And the swords were the paintbrushes. Okay, I'm going to put a little more weight in here. All right, shaping up. Here's a little paint. I'm going to do it a little different than the drawing was. Okay. Caravaggio looks a little thin. He is in the background, but picking up some of these lines. All right. So I'm just doing the lines that are underneath and to the left. So let's see if I can redeem myself and bring this thumb into shape. Yes, it looks cartoony. I'll fix the thumbnail later. Okay. There we go. I have to clean this nib off real quick. It's getting kind of goopy. So one thing about like when you ink, the ink dries on the nib a little bit sometimes, and it picks up fibers and stuff from the board, like dust fragments, things like that. So it will thicken up your tip. So always, if you're inking with a nib, be careful. Especially like a way to monitor it is when the line becomes kind of thick and it's not as sharp. The line isn't as crisp. All right, let's get some more of his feathered cap. Yeah, Caravaggio's he dresses a little like a dandy, but he is not he's not a wimp. Yeah, now this nib is still being messed up. Okay, where was I? I wanted to. I don't like the shape of this. I am probably going to have to fool with that in Photoshop. All right, there we go. Got to kind of get some of the funkier shapes in. So I'm bringing out the knuckles a little bit more than I would unless it was an old man or somebody with arthritis. All right. So close. Okay, clean up some of these. And then bring the back of the hand in. Most of this stuff, like the rest of this hand, isn't going to be seen. All of this, I think, is cropped out. But like I said, it'll give me more to work with. So all I have is some of the action lines that are coming down here. I'll show you close up. And then I'm just going to go in and do my rendering. But I'll pencil that stuff in later. But I just kind of wanted to structure this up. Just kind of hang out with you guys for a little while. Get some work done. Let me see. How's that look? That's a little too much light. So there we go. Yeah, it's going to be, let me see if I can find the pencil. My pencil. It's going to be framed in like this. So a lot of this stuff here isn't going to be shown. So there's way more to the drawing than is really going to be in the panel. But there you go. Fun little shot of Caravaggio and his arch rival, his nemesis, his nemesis. So let's do this and see what you guys are talking about. And then I'm going to show off some fan art. And then I'm going to show you some sketchbook stuff. We'll have some fun. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate this. Yes, please go back it. In demand now. It is the greatest comic of all time. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Oh, J Potts, oil paint is vegetable oil and pigment. Safe if you can eat it. Just stay away from the cadmiums. Really? Okay. So if you get, but what if you get in your eye though? It might just hurt a lot. Hello. I'm here to mess with artists. I don't know what that's in relationship to, but it just sounded funny. Okay, when are we going to get a John Malin team-up piece? I would really like to ink John Malin. I think that would be fun, like on a cover or something. I don't really want to do any interiors at this point unless they're on my own book. That's a lot of time commitment. Art was saying earlier that he'd like to ink over. Yeah, John's pencil. I think it'd be a great collaboration. Yeah, I like people that, one, inspire, and then two, that I feel like I could bring something to it that's possibly unique. And I kind of feel that with John, because I don't know if I would ink him completely the way he inks himself. But I don't know unless I tried. Gotta run. Cheers. See you later, Albino Thunderbuns. That's my wife's favorite name. Just she likes the Thunderbuns idea. I'm gonna keep this up as I scroll. Okay, appreciate you. Keep up the good fight. All right. Watch out for the guys that love you today. Want to get you kicked off Indiegogo tomorrow and call it satire. They will be a drag on your campaigns. Yeah, I don't know, man. I guess I'll cross that bridge when I get there. I'm kind of a trusting guy, maybe too much, but I am. And then J Pot says, appreciate you, Sketch. Keep up the good fight. Yeah, I mean, I do too. You got everybody's back. I do appreciate it. It's just a trip. A trip. Okay, well, let's do this thing. Let's get some screen sharing time. Do I have to screen share for this? I think so. I think I do. Okay, here we go. Screen share. Boom, 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 boom. So I believe you've seen this. So this was the layout that I did earlier today. And so these are the fan pieces. So like I said, this is from the Chrono Mechanics archive. So this is some of the older fan art. I do have some newer stuff as well, and I'll show that off later. And if you guys are aspiring artists or just inspired by Chrono, feel free to draw up some images and send them my way. I'll show them off because this is a lot of fun to see. Then we have this, which this is like an ultra serious. This is an epic version of Oot. So I wish I had their names. I don't even know how this was done. It looks kind of digital, but I don't know how the hell they did these textures. Oh, sorry. Oh, so this is that one. So they're hanging out at the beach. We got that. So then these are the sketches and drawings for the work in progress sketchbook up on Indiegogo. So these are like kid versions of Chrono Mechanics. And when I was developing stuff at the different studios, they were kind of like, it's kind of like what's going on now, where you have to have representation, right? Like somehow you have to tailor this certain thing to this certain audience. So I think the idea was the cartoon companies were that for kids to like the cartoon, they had to be kids and they couldn't be adults. Although when I was a kid, and I mean, I watched and I read comic books that were adults going on adventures. They weren't always kids. So, even Scooby-Doo, they were kids, but they were older. They drove and did drugs. I don't know if they did drugs officially, but allegedly they were doing drugs. So, so this was kind of an attempt at doing that. And then a story idea came out of the kids, the Chrono kids. And I still might do a story based on the Chrono kids. So there's Doug again. This is Little Oot or Lil Oot. So this is Oot in kid form. And then we have Little Zen. So I thought what would be fun with, wait, where'd it go? Oh no, what did I do? I think I just got rid of Zen. I got Click Happy. Holy crap, that was one of the cooler ones too. Let me see if I can go back. I can't. Yeah, well, that was Zen as a kid. So the idea was that he's kind of more like a squid. He's more squid-like. And so this is Caravaggio. He has hair. One of the reasons he wears a hat is because he's bald now. But this is him when he was a kid. He's a chubby little kid. And so then here's just some random, when I was trying to come up with ideas for Chrono, just seeing how the style would look for different characters. And I think maybe I was playing around with that one of the core characters, instead of a Renaissance, artist, a kid deity from a distant universe, and a prehistoric, businessman like Caveman, and a 70s rock star. There was going to be a cowboy character instead of one of those four. So I nixed that, but I always liked this drawing. I thought it was pretty cool. And so then what I did is, when I was trying to figure out, one, for myself, how to draw these things structurally, and then also how to potentially tell other people that would be drawing the characters how to do it. So I was trying to figure out kind of the anatomy of it and the more kind of science of drawing these characters. So that's what this was. And then this is kind of the same idea. So they're kind of like turnarounds for the characters. So Caravaggio always has a contemptuous look. Oot, his hair is always a little messy, and from his nose to his mouth is a little elongated, so he looks more ape-like. And he has a scar across one eye. That's why the one eye is never fully open, because he had a little run-in with a dino. And so then, like Zen is always like kid-like wonder, and he always looks slightly insane with one eye bigger than the other. So that's kind of the idea there. And Caravaggio has like a beauty mark, a mole. So like I said, he's a little bit of a dandy, but he's all man. And so these are just some fun little doodles that I did trying to figure out different characters. So this was an idea for Skippy, who is a Chrono. He's a Chrono Incorporated. He's kind of like an intern or an assistant. He's probably more of a personal assistant to the foreman. We used to always call him an intern, but I think he's a lot more than just an intern. And so then we have the Time Giant. And so the Time Giants are part of a rival workforce. So these guys work for Joe Q and Quickie Time. So Quickie Time is a rival to Chrono Incorporated. And so, you know how all businesses have a rival or a competitor. So Quickie Time is the Chrono Incorporated. It's their competitors. And so they recruit time giants throughout time. So Chrono Incorporated, you know, the best and the brightest. And so Quickie, to save money, they just, you know, hire a bunch of schlubs, and people that work cheap and, you know, don't have a lot of baggage. And so time giants are kind of like strong, stupid, you know, workers. So they just take orders and they get the job done quickly. And the idea behind all the band-aids on them that you see is because they're really bad at their job. So they're always getting hurt. So they're always cutting themselves or scraping themselves with the tools that they're using. So the time giants themselves aren't necessarily bad. They're just tools being used by Quickie Time and Joe Q, who is running Quickie Time. So I have some stories with Joe Q. Guy, I hope, man, we got to get this book up. We got to get the sales up on this book because there are so many stories I want to tell you guys. There's so many cool stories and backstories to these characters that I can't wait to be able to tell their stories. So, you know, one of the stories is is Joe Q's backstory and why he's Quickie Time, why he is Quickie Time, and why he's a rival to Chrono Incorporated. So I just wanted to show that. I like to, you know, while I'm doing these draw streams, that I share a little bit of extra stuff with you guys. So I hope you appreciate it because I have a lot of fun showing this stuff off. So screen share, stop screen sharing, coming back. Yeah, it's kind of I don't know. Is that a different type style? I don't know what that is. That's not Frazetta, is it? Hell Art, Hell Chat, Metal Movies and Brewskis. What's up? Not drugs. Scooby Snacks. Yeah, they're always like freaking hungry, those two. So the drug culture is definitely there, and like Shaggy kind of walks as if he's stoned all the time. I think everybody's always speculated that you know, Shaggy at least was a pothead. I like your characters; they look fun, man. Thank you. I am doing my damnedest to keep them fun and interesting. Where did Carl Maiden get his Carl Maiden or Carl Malden get his sledgehammer? Yeah, he does look a little Carl Malden with the big old nose. Yeah, that's an old reference. I didn't even know what you were talking about at first. Carl Malden, for all you newbies, he's an old actor. Yeah, they do cheap and shoddy work. I'm sure everybody's out there has either hired a mechanic or had somebody come by your house and do some work and do a really crappy job. So that's what inspired these guys. It's the flip side to somebody who has integrity, to people that just don't really give a crap. Just do it for the quick buck. All right. We got some Shaggy talk. Isn't Shaggy's dad a police officer? Hey, some of those guys are the worst, man. It's like those guys that went to Catholic school or girls that went to Catholic school. I had a friend that went to Catholic school. Oh my God, he was the worst, man. He was a womanizing boozer. That dude was out of control. Yeah, he's the perfect candidate to be a stoner. Yeah, a lot of those guys, man, they're so tightly controlled that as soon as they get a little bit of freedom, they go nutty. They go nutty, crazy nuts. They go crazy loco. Very, very cool, man. This was a blast. This was kind of impromptu. Just thought I would hang out with you guys for an hour or so and show you what I'm working on. And you guys did not disappoint in the chat. Thank you so much for interacting and making this a blast. So you guys have a good rest of the day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.